Hey, everybody. So, for today's Minisode and Videosode, we're going to be talking about manifesting. On Thursday, we have Tristan D. Lala, who you will hear his interview, and was a surprise to Jess and I that he attributes his success to energy. And so we decided that today we're going to talk a bit about energy and manifesting. So, Jess, do you have any stories where you manifested something to you, or what are your thoughts on manifesting?
Yeah, well, I guess my latest goal and or manifestation that I want to
Uh-huh.
come to fruition is that I really want to work on a comedy series from the beginning, um,
Hmm.
put together the ensemble and let it go for many, many seasons. And
Amazing.
in the past, like since I've really stated that, there's been a few things that came across that I was like, oh wow, like we're getting closer, which is so cool. So
Yeah.
last winter, I spoke with a line producer who was producing like a mini series about a Canadian story that was shooting in Montreal, comedy, for a big platform. And I was like, oh my God, like we're okay, like this could be great. Didn't get it. That's totally
Uh-huh.
fine. Because also it's a mini series, it's not recurring. So we want recurring,
Right. So, yeah.
Exactly. So all to say, of course, it would have been great to work on, but it's totally fine that I'm not. But I was like, okay, it's we're getting closer. Like you feel it.
Right.
Like it's so crazy. And then I'm working on another project now with Rosina, and again, it's a series that in French has gone on for many many seasons. We're working on season 2. It's not a comedy, but putting together the full cast and amazing producers and directors um and they're incorporating sort of like the French style of shoot schedule to the English
Right.
side, which brings a bit more balance, which you spoke about with Mark and some other actors that I was like, yes, like again, it's what Matthew Giuffrida said of like, if I see that it's possible, like I know I could get there. And that's sort of like what's
Wow.
been like playing. So I'm like, okay, like, yeah, of course, if the French, like if the Quebec side of things can do it, like, why can't we? So it's like, it's so cool that like this French series is now adapted to English and they're still incorporating like the scheduling on the English side. I'm like, yes, like, okay, so not comedy, but that's fine. It's a recurring season. It's,
Yeah.
better schedule. Maybe we'll see. We're in it, don't want
Right.
to speak too soon. But then I also bumped into another creative that I worked with for many years at CMJ, and she is developing a web series comedy that also takes
Ooh.
place in Montreal. So again, like, will I be a part of it? Like, who know? It's in like the early development stages, but like
Yeah.
just hearing about it, that other people want to create like Canadian stories, Montreal specific stories, comedy, because we have so many funny people here, like
Yeah.
from, writers to actors, like we need more of that. So I just find like everything that I'm seeing is like, whoa, like we're getting closer.
We're getting
So
closer.
yeah, so I find it so exciting. I find it really cool. And again, like, is it that I made that intention that I'm just like seeing these things very clearly and they always existed? But like, I don't know. There hasn't been many shows that have like had Montreal as its setting
Yeah.
before. So
Yeah.
here's like 2 specifically this year that are, or 3, sorry. Like, that's
Well,
pretty crazy.
keep manifesting that, Jess,
Yeah.
because we need that. So that's amazing. Bring
So
it
stay
here.
tuned. Keep you posted,
Stay.
y'all.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
How about
Yeah.
you? What are some fun manifesting stories?
Yes. Well, I'm going to share my manifesting story that I've shared with other people before. I think it's a good story. So I had decided that um, my financial situation's often up and down, and I wanted it to be up always. So I decided to use a technique called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, where you tap on certain acupressure points and you make a statement. Um, so I decided on a number. It's not a huge number. I wasn't saying like I want $100,000 a minute, which I would like, but I didn't. You have to kind of feel aligned to it. So I
Yeah.
picked a number that is what I'm comfortable with, that I've been up and around there, but I want to do that every month. So I went tapping away. Even though I don't know where this money is going to come from, I fully love, honor, and accept myself, even though I don't know where this money is going to come from. So that's kind of the repetitive thing that you do. So I did it. One month it came, but I kind of knew it was going to come because I was expecting a check. And I was like, yep, that works. The next month it came. I had a gig and I was like, perfect. Now I'm into August. So month 3, and August is very quiet for me teaching wise. So I didn't have a lot of students. I did not know how I was going to make this money. I was not going to get a residual check from a commercial or anything. And I went tapping away. And I was like, and I was okay about it, but I was like, I think I'm going to have to let this go. Like, I don't know how this money's going to come. And I was like, tap
Yeah.
harder, even though I don't know where it's going to come from. I love myself, I was pretty intense
Believe
about it.
it.
I was like, and then I got a random call from this woman, Casey, and she was like, hi, I'm Kevin Hart's assistant, and his daughter's looking for an acting coach. And I was like, what? And would you be interested in casting, like in coaching her? And I was like, sure, but it was going to be a one-off. I couldn't ask for, thousands of dollars because that would be just, I think, like strange. So I
Yeah.
basically said, look, this is my rate if she comes to the studio, but if I go to her, I'm going to have to charge double for my time. And she's like,
Yeah.
that's fine. And so they were having me. Then also I went for a 1 hour session and I was like, and then she's like, can you come back tomorrow? I was like, okay. So I ended up going, and he has a 14-year-old daughter named Heaven Hart, lovely girl. And she's not an actress, but
Wait,
she's
what's
has an
her
in
name? Because
Heaven Hart.
Kevin. Okay, I thought you said
Yeah.
Kevin. I was like,
No, Heaven. And
Kevin.
so yeah, so he ended up asking for me to come like every day. Can you come tomorrow? Can you come? I was like, sure, sure. And then at the end of it was like the month was up, they were like wrapping, and I was like, Casey, like I haven't got paid. She's like, oh, go buy the condo. And I was like, okay, this is funny because it was like literally the end of the month. I think it was like the 29th of August or something. And I still wouldn't have made it exact, but then his wife was like, how much do we owe you? And she gives me the money in American money, and it literally
Oh
ended
my
up
God.
being like the amount that I was missing. So I was like, holy crap, it works, it
It
works.
worked.
I'm not going to do it again, though. I'm not going to do that tapping intensity. And the reason why is because it wasn't fun. The coaching was fun. She was a great girl. It wasn't that. It was just that, like, Christian and I were supposed to go to Ottawa for the weekend to a time my mom lived there. And I was like, I can't. I'm like on call for like Kevin Hart now somehow. Is that.
Right.
And it was, and I was nervous because I had to still teach at night, which was fine. It was always during the day, but I was like, I can't pick up my son from camp. Christian, you've got to do it. So it became like very intense. I don't actually want to work on call. It's never been my thing, but I had this like amount, like I could have said no and they would have got another coach. I didn't have to go in every day, but I was so determined to make this exact amount of money for no reason except I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And but I wasn't necessarily like thrilled about it. It was a bit intense for me. And yeah, and so I like what you were saying about manifesting balance, and you want like also a balanced lifestyle with a nice schedule, and if it's possible and stuff like that. So I would like to manifest, and my next kind of goal is I'm going to look at Simon talked about it. I've had a lot of students talk about it, dubbing. That dubbing is busy now in Montreal. I've never done it. And I would like to throw my hat in the ring there. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to tap like a crazy person, but I will, when I do my meditation, maybe put a little thought of me being in the recording booth. I'm also going to, as Simon had suggested, get throw an email out to a couple of directors asking if I could audit their session if we're
Yeah.
allowed, in a calmer way. And yeah, and I'm going to do that because I that's something I would like to manifest into my world because I think I'd be good at it and I think I'd enjoy it. So I'm
Yeah.
going to, but I haven't done it, so I don't know yet. So I don't want to be intense about it. I just
Right.
want to put it out there in a more lighthearted way and with co-creating, doing some physical stuff like throwing out some actual emails and then some more spiritual stuff like through a meditation or a visualization and see where that leads. And I will definitely check back in and let you know how that's going. So,
Good.
yeah.
Yay.
So there's my big manifesting story. And now my intention for dubbing for my next kind of dabble into this manifesting world.
Love it.
Yeah, amazing. Well,
Cool.
thanks everybody. So have a great week. We will see you on Thursday and you will see all the amazing stuff that Tristan manifested, although he doesn't call it manifesting. He just says energy is everything. Energy is everything. And he
Yeah.
gets a whole heck of a lot of everything because he's got a phenomenal career and he's a phenomenal person. So I hope you check in on Thursday because it'll be fantastic.
Yes. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
If you're enjoying this podcast, we would really appreciate it if you could take a moment to support us.
Leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. You can share this podcast with your friends and colleagues and follow us on social media at Book the Room Podcast.
We put out episodes weekly, so subscribe to the shows to get notified.